Less worry and more wins. When you get to a clean slate, the possibilities are endless. Clorox. Start clean. Always use products as directed.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for a better sex life? Check out Roman. Roman has medication clinically proven to help you perform in bed. For 20% off your entire first order, go to ro.co/better. That's ro.co/better.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Don't miss Builders and Remodelers at the State Fair to get your biggest savings of the year. BuildersandRemodelers.com.
From the Your Boat Club Weather Center. This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Fan forecast.
Some clouds on and off for the rest of the afternoon, but much more comfortable hanging around 84.
Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, a 24-pack of Crayola crayons and comp books are just 50 cents each, and select notebooks are just 35 cents each. In store only. Offer ends 8/26, limit 30. School on, save on at Staples.
Now back to the Fan at the Fair, presented by Meshbesher Spence.
If you want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN show, now you can.
Chime
you can
time.
Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line. Just let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Send your text message and data rate supply.
All right, we're ready. One of our most loyal listeners, Katie, was kind enough to drop off a absolutely delicious pepperoni pizza. Now I grew up on deep dish.
Yep.
Okay? I'm never going to turn my back on deep dish, Chicago deep dish. I've become, though, more of a thin crust guy. This is brilliant. Pizza Wagon is where I'm told it's from. Crisp, which I love. Well done, which I love. Pepperoni, which I love. Did you try it?
It's outstanding.
Oh, my God.
Did I try it? Of course I tried
really
it.
Good.
Yes.
Thanks, Katie. By the way, it's that time again, tradition. We were talking to Two Dogs before we started the segment here, and he said, well, I hadn't heard from Guardsy, I didn't want to be presumptuous. I said, be presumptuous.
So I tell him every year.
It's the first Thursday, the first day at the Great Minnesota Get Together, the Bumper to Bumper show. The first guest will be either Monty Creason or his nephew Two Dogs. How about a round of applause for the man now in charge of Monty Creason's traveling Reptile show?
And when I show up, we just talk about Monty anyway, so we feel like he's here. And
that's the beauty of it.
He'd start tapping on the mic. Is this thing on? Is it working?
That's it.
Because obviously you guys aren't professionals and know what you're doing.
No,
so.
well, we really don't.
We actually don't most of the time. You're exactly right.
We should remind people that the complaint I used to get, and I remember it was an old Gopher booster that used to say, I can't do it with the Reptile guy at the fair because I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. I said, we got you covered, Robin. KFAN.com/watch, and you'll see if Zach Halverson can overcome his phobias of reptiles and snakes. He's streaming it. We're doing all of our streaming and things like that, and so this segment is streamable at KFAN.com/watch to see what Two Dogs has brought for us if you want to check it out.
So it's all there.
It's right there.
People can't be frustrated by that any longer if they just make the effort.
And the close-ups,
it's not much of an effort.
And the close-up shots are because of Halvey's athleticism and fearlessness, getting right up into whatever Two Dogs has brought.
Well, plus I'm pretty sure Two Dogs, you bring all the necessary antidotes, right? Like if Halvey gets bitten, you'll be able to inject him with the proper serum, correct?
Well, there's one thing that's been made abundantly clear to me over all the years. If Zach gets bit, it won't hurt any of us at all.
That's right.
It won't even bother us.
That's
exactly
true.
right.
That's a very good point. It would actually add to the bit. I mean, I don't want him to die, though. That's the one thing. We don't want him to die.
We just want to test his professionalism
That's
and
it.
make sure that he does a good job
And
getting it all on film.
That's it, exactly. And his recovery time as well. So welcome back. It seems like only yesterday we were talking a year ago, and here we are. This is the way it works.
Yeah, and I have one of those good friends where, once you get done with the fair, you take a little break, and he likes to just send that message, like, 9 months to the fair. Like, okay, 3 months to the fair. Like, I don't need to know that. Like, until the 4th of July is over, I don't think about the fair. Like, I know it's coming. It just doesn't need to be on my mind. I absolutely love it when you get here, but the anxiety of, like, everything you got to do and get everything ready. But then as soon as you get here, it's like, oh, I love doing this. Then it's great, but that whole, like, getting ready to do it until you actually start doing it, then it's great.
The logistics, all that kind of good stuff. By the way, refresh my memory. I'm sure you've told me this before. The Monty compound in California, does it still exist?
Nope. Well, we still know the people that have that place and everything, but we do not go back to California.
Do not go back at all. That's what I thought.
Well, we're from Wisconsin, so you guys don't let us, come over the river very often. You keep us over there. I don't know why. We bring cheese and beer with us, so you'd think you'd like us.
And Carl Gerbschmidt.
Yeah. Okay, now I understand.
Now you get it. Exactly it. All right, so where do you want to begin? What do we need to talk about?
Well,
early.
Zach really wants to get over his fear of everything. We'll start with the cute and cuddly stuff.
Oh, that is. That looks.
This is a young African sulcata tortoise. So these things start out real small. The problem is they breed like rabbits.
Ooh.
So pet stores would really love them because you put two together and you do a little multiplication and then you have more, and you can sell them when they're tiny and cute. But as Hank's going to pull out here, you give him a few years. We figure this guy's around 16 years old.
That kid.
They hit
that kid
a growth
stopped.
spurt.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So how fast does that take for him to get to that other size?
Well, we figure the big one there is around 16 years old.
Okay.
So this is your largest mainland tortoise. So you have the Galapagos, that's your number one, Aldabras, and then you go to these guys. And guys, I know that they've been down in Africa on safaris or whatever, and it's like, you're looking at the mountainside, and all of a sudden, you swear the boulders are moving. And then somebody gives you a spotting scope or binoculars, like, yep, it's these big tortoises just grazing across the mountainside there. So yeah, as Hank's going around so the kids can all pet him on the back, the big guy here, he's just going to move over to your lawn and start mowing it down. These guys are lawnmowers. They're awesome, but they are the most work of all the reptiles we have because they just never stop moving.
They never stop moving. And how fast can they go if they have to?
They're not very fast because they just don't care. Whatever's going on, if something's bad, they're just going to pull everything in.
That's a good mentality, actually.
And Zach's going to zoom in on the front legs there, and you're going to see how thick those front scales are. Because if you grow up in Africa, you either got to be really tough or really nasty. Or have great protection. These guys just go with protection.
Speaking of nasty, it looks like we had a bathroom incident over here with the little guy in the front row.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, Hank, he's usually pretty good. We haven't had any accidents for a while, but... Oh, the tortoise? The helper?
The tortoise.
God, he
that was well
played.
He
did so good last night, too. We were so proud of him. He got a cookie and everything from Sweet Martha.
It's nature. I mean, it's going to happen every once in a while, correct?
They brought a towel. Yeah, they brought a towel.
It's exciting to be here, so, he's made the big time.
And the adult you think that you have out here is like 16?
Yep. And like a lot of the reptiles we have, if you come over and you ask us how old something is, we're going to give you an answer. Deep down inside, though, just know we're lying. we're guessing. We don't know. Most of our animals are rescues, but we're just going to give you the answer that we go with. And we finally realized that we have terrible memories, so we actually wrote these numbers down so we can add one to it each year. Because, there's people that remember, and they're like, well, last year you said this. Like, all right, then why'd you ask me this year?
And what do they eat?
So these guys are herbivores.
Grass right now,
Yep. And he'll pick out all your broadleaves, so any weeds and thistles, he'll clean that up first.
Man.
It's like having a cow that you can't milk.
Wow.
Just getting graze all day long.
Was this the little tortoise that you had out front? I was talking about that before. When I came over to see you today, this one was...
He might have been the one. So we have 4 tortoises that start the morning. So, I mean, we're cheap to begin with. It's only $3 to get in. The giant slide is up to $4.
There you go.
That's a staple at the fair. Absolutely. I mean, that's amazing. You got to do it. We're only 3. But if you're too cheap for that, I can understand. I'm one of those people. Monty raised me well.
That's a good rate. That's $3.
$3.
That's hellacious. That's a good deal.
Everybody tells me, like, you got to raise your prices. You got to raise your prices. But to me, $3 is still some money because you have a family of 4 comes through. Well, there's 12. Okay, we raise it to 5. You know what? They're just going to send the 2 kids in. There's $10 instead of 12. And when they come through the following year, like, you did that last year, let's do something else. So I'm honest about how I'm trying to get all your money.
Yeah, at least
I'm just trying to take a little.
You don't lie about it.
Yeah, but I want it every year, and I'm going to try and get your entire family hooked and get you to come back and get it year after year after year.
Which you've talked about this before. You do get. I mean, I think you see familiar faces, right? There's a lot of repeaters.
When we pop the door at 8:00 this morning, there's people that come in and they're like, "We talk about you all year long. You are our first stop. We're running right to you." And I mean, there's ones. We just had a family right before we were getting ready to come here. Like, we were ready to walk out the door so we could be here on time so you guys wouldn't have to worry. They brought a little girl in. She's in a wheelchair. Looked like she's going to be in that in her entire life. So these big tortoises, we let the people pet them. I'm like, oh, I'll pick that big tortoise up so the little girl can pet her. And Mom's explaining everything, and she tells me, like, yeah, she's blind too, so I'm just telling her everything. Like, oh, well, let's go get one of the big snakes out so she can pet the big snake and, do this extra stuff. And, like, yeah, Guardsy and Dan, they can wait.
Yeah, we'll wait for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have families like that where, you think you're having a tough day and you see, that kid's never getting out of that wheelchair. That's mom and dad's entire life from now on. Like, my problems are pretty minor.
That's got to hit you. Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Like, sore legs, sore feet at the end of the fair, that's a pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, very, very, very true. And how where do you find these, and where do you get them?
So the little one here came while we were doing the fair one year. A friend messaged me and asked, hey, what kind of tortoise or what kind of turtle is this? I'm like, well, that's an African tortoise. Grab it. It was in their yard in Menominee, Wisconsin. Like,
grab it.
Yeah. Well, it's not there anymore because by the time I got the message, well, it came back and they grabbed it, and so that's nobody we could find was missing one. So either somebody dumped it or it got out. So,
interesting.
And the big ones, that's a friend of ours. He's got a couple. He raises buffalo, and he's got a couple big tortoises too.
Now, knowing how people are in this state, there's going to be some bitterness that why Menominee? Why not here? Why couldn't you find one in the great state of Minnesota?
Well, we do have a bull snake from Woodbury.
Okay, there you go.
And it actually came off a golf course, so I'm not saying who let it go, but we don't need to point fingers.
Okay.
At people.
Yeah.
No.
All right. That need will. All right. What's up? Now we're getting into
there come the snakes.
So one of Monty's things that he was real proud of was he raised big snakes, and he raised big snakes that you could handle. Well, big snakes don't start out big, so like our big reticulated pythons that are up over 20 feet long. Well, this is a baby one. This is probably month and a half old. This is how they start out. They hatch out of an egg about the size of your fist. They're about as big around as your thumb, 16, 18 inches long. Now, this is not a normal one. You can get that in front of the camera there, Hank, so everybody can see. But this is a type of albino, so we don't have any of the dark pigments left. We have these yellows. And when this is full grown, most likely we're looking 18 to 20 feet, close to 200 pounds or so.
Wow.
But it's absolutely amazing what they start out as. And these reticulated pythons, it used to be, if you had one of them, it was kind of a death wish. If you remember Monty's story, they had one shipped in, and him and his buddy were in the basement, full hockey gear, helmets, pads, everything, and they get this reticulated python, and they dump it out of the bag, and they got the cage open, and basically they're going to try and herd it into the cage. Well, it just kind of crawled around and then just slowly crawled into there, and they're like, this thing is sick. We got screwed over. They took our money and everything. Well, then they got it to breed, and it had babies, and all the babies were calm too. Where it used to be, you have a retic, yeah, you got a death wish. It's just a matter of time. It's coming after you. They're just a mean, nasty snake. Well, Monty's buddy Bob, who's huge in the reptile business and buying and selling, he's had him come down to this reptile show in Daytona with him, and he gave him a couple feet of his table there, and he sold out of all his snakes. I think he had 40-some babies in like 20 minutes because nobody could believe that you had a reticulated python that you could handle.
Wow.
So if you go around the country and zoos, if they have retics, most likely it's a descendant of Monty's because that trait just seemed to get passed on.
Wow.
And that's the kind of luck Monty would have, where it's just dumb luck. You're just right place, right time, ordered the right one. But he was also smart enough to capitalize on it, too.
You are listening to and maybe watching Two Dogs. Monty Creason Traveling Reptile Show is the occasion. As always, tradition on our program, first day at the fair, he brings some of his outstanding array of animals as well. What was the snake that constituted Monty's closest brush with death? Because he did tell that story a few times.
That was Blondie. She's a reticulated python, and of course she's with us. Not here today, but she's at the joint.
Haldy is so terrified right now. What's in this black bin? I've never seen a guy having a breakdown in real time.
He hasn't complained once. It might be because he can't physically speak because of the fear. But anyway, so this is what they grow up into be.
Oh my goodness!
This is another albino version.
Look at that. That thing's got some girth to it. Oh boy.
So this is mom.
Oh boy. That's mom.
Yep. So this is an albino as well. This is a female. So right now she's a little on the skinny side because after having all those eggs, it just strips your body. It takes a lot off them. But it's really a great thing for them to get all that fat and all those reserves stripped down and start over. And it seems like they live longer if we actually breed them occasionally.
Well.
So this is the same kind that got Monty, that Blondie that he got from his buddy Bob.
So that one did not have the same temperament, obviously.
No.
Blondie.
Now, this one, we hate to say how this one is really well behaved because, well, Murphy works with us, and Murphy's law is law. So if we say she's great.
Yes, right.
Go ahead, Zach. You can get close. She's fine.
Can we turn her around, please, the other way? It's getting a little close here.
Oh, man.
No.
Look at that.
No.
But this girl's used to being handled, and the important thing, like with all animals, if we pay attention to this snake, she's going to tell us what we can and can't do. Almost every time when something happens, if we get bit, if we look back, like, yep, that was our fault. The animal is telling us, no, I don't want any more. I'm done with that, this or that. But that one that we got from Bob, it just wasn't used to being handled.
Right.
And she was big.
Right.
And, of course, Monty said, he's like, we don't handle her alone, which he then followed up by with, well, I'm just going to clean her cage out in the corner.
And that's so what, because we haven't, I don't think we've talked about that story over the last couple of years. So what happened that put him so close to death, right? I mean, it was bad.
Absolutely. So Monty brings Blondie, this 20-foot reticulated python, home, and she is big. We have big snakes. She's big. And we put her in the cage, and whenever you would touch her, her head was coming around to see what was that. She just wasn't used to being handled. I equate it to being around a dog that's been beat. Like it's not sure what's going on.
Right.
It doesn't trust anyone.
Yep.
So Monty went in the one corner of the cage because Blondie was on the far other one, and physics tells you she can't cover that distance. We're good. Well, he was wrong. Blondie proved wrong. She came across out the cage, grabbed him, wrapped him up, turned him upside down, and pile drived him into the concrete.
Into the concrete.
Yep, because
my God.
His glasses hit first, and those were all bent up. And according to Monty, his first thought through his head, and I believe him, was, the boys are going to love this. What a way for me to go out.
Way to go.
They're going to just have a heyday with this at the fair.
Oh, my goodness. So how did he get it? Do you remember how he got out or what he said he did?
His story is that he got one hand around her neck and squeezed, which really doesn't do anything because that snake does not need to breathe.
Okay.
They just do not go through oxygen at the rate we do.
So Monty might have been making that up a little bit?
Well, I believe
embellishing.
We know he was embellishing.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
But I'm sure he got his hand around her neck, and all it probably did was she realized, this isn't food, this is different.
Okay.
And she just let go.
Let it go. Because if she hadn't, he was done, right?
Yep. Either that or God was just messing with him, see
right.
if you believe in me now.
Oh, my goodness.
So she let go and just kind of crawled away and then go up there, and he's half concussed because he got slammed into the concrete. And of course, what do we have to do for the fair that year? I think we should take Blondie over on KFAN. And me, I'm just well, I think that's a terrible idea. But it turned out my vote didn't count.
It was a vote of one.
So I'm put in a real awkward situation because, obviously, every male wants to be right. That's just in our DNA.
Yes, unfortunately.
But I don't think this will go well. I don't think this is a good idea. But I need it to go well because if it goes bad on KFAN, that's probably going to be the last time we're invited over.
Yeah, it's going to be bad for all of us,
but
for sure.
If it goes well, I get to hear how I told you she'd be fine. So I got to hear how I told you she'd be fine. She was good over here. She's really, really good to handle now. She's not one we're going to take to schools or
How old
birthday
is she
parties.
now? What'd you say? Or you're again
14,
estimating?
16,
14.
somewhere
Okay,
in
that
there.
range, yeah.
But you definitely treat all these with a lot of respect because they can end your weekend real fast. But she gets the extra time. Like when you move her, you take every extra caution because, well, we've seen what she can do. You know what she can do. And just whatever she wants to do, that's how we're going to do things.
Do we have more critters?
Oh, we got
let's break early then. Let's do it this way. We'll break earlier than usual, and then we'll have a good chunk of time in the back end. Monty Creason's Traveling Reptile Show. It's a bargain at $3.
$3.
It's unbelievable.
Mostly because I'm too cheap to make new signs. So hurry up before I break down.
Well, people should take advantage of it, though, and I know indeed they will. Two Dogs, the man now in charge of the historic State Fair exhibit, always our first guest when we hit the State Fair. He'll come back with some more critters for us when we return right here on The Fan.
This is Bumper to Bumper live from the Minnesota State Fair on The Fan, presented by Meshbesher Spence.
KFAN. Meshbesher Spence gets Minnesotans. Because as one of our state's oldest law firms, we've been fighting for our fellow Minnesotans for over 60 years. We know the ins and outs of Minnesota's legal system, and to never call it a casserole. We know how to get Minnesotans full and fair settlements, and that any food can be put on a stick. Mostly, we know how Minnesotans deserve to be treated. If you've been hurt in an accident, call Meshbesher Spence. Minnesota Personal Injury Lawyers, Minnesotans trust.
Tradition Senior Living Community.
Ready for all the comforts of home, minus all the maintenance hassles? Carefree, secure, personalized senior living. It's all waiting for you at Tradition in Brooklyn Park. Call today to book your free tour. Because no one's ever said, gee, I miss raking leaves.
Ooh, Minnesota finally got some storms over the last month and change, but you know what? Some of those storms were significant, and there was hail involved. Clear-cut exteriors will come to your home or your business, and they will check your roof at no charge to make sure everything is okay. Once again, they will give you a free roof analysis by going to clearcutexteriors.com. In the web address, exteriors begins with X, clearcutexteriors.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Do not miss the By the Yard's annual State Fair sale now through Labor Day. Save 10% on By the Yard's beautiful maintenance-free outdoor furniture. Order today at By the Yard next to the 4-H building. You can also shop their stores in Jordan, Maple Grove, and Woodbury, or shop online at bytheyard.net.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there, and around there, and even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Back to school means back to all-nighters. Coffee? Check. Laptop? Check. Internet? If you need internet that makes the grade, Quantum Fiber delivers amazing reliability and speed, all with unlimited data. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Appliance savings on a stick from Minnesota's specialists at Warner Stellian with up to 10% back. Choose a best-selling dishwasher from brands like KitchenAid and Bosch. Then save more with free installation from our trusted specialists. Or transform your kitchen in an instant with KitchenAid and save up to $4,000. Plus, trust the heavy lifting to our delivery crews for not a penny more and take advantage of 2 years to pay. Save up to 10% extra during Warner Stellian's Savings on a Stick.
Hey, it's Chris Hockey here. Summer, the best season of the year, in my opinion. I get to play all these awesome music festivals all over the country, and I'm logging some serious miles on my Harley. And whenever I do have a weekend off, I'm grilling and chilling with my family and friends. It's the best. And I'll admit, the beers and cocktails flow pretty easy this time of year. But one thing you won't see me do, jump on my motorcycle after drinking. So do me a favor. Do everyone you know a favor. Always remember this. You booze, you cruise, you lose. Ride sober. Ride smart. A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
School is back, and Dick's House of Sport has everything you need to gear up so you can show up with the widest selection of the hottest brands like Nike, Jordan, On, Carhartt, Hoka, and more. Get the lowest price with the best price guarantee. And while you're here, scale the rock wall, hit a ball in the hitting bay, or test your skills on the field or in the multi-sport cage. With more looks and more ways to play, Dick's House of Sport at Ridgedale Center is the destination to sport your style.
Hey, Twin Cities, Chris Hockey here. If you're considering replacing the windows in your home, here's why you need to call my friends at Builders and Remodelers. First, Triple Pane Elements windows are the highest rated windows in the industry and are only available from Builders and Remodelers. Second, your custom-built windows are installed by trained and certified professionals. And third, the warranty's incredible. So before you purchase windows anywhere else, check out Elements Windows from Builders and Remodelers. And for a limited time, qualified buyers get an incredible 5 years no interest or save 25% off your project. Awesome products at great prices. Go to buildersandremodelers.com today. Nobody does it better.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Staples Stores.
Pablo Lopez goes to the mound for the Twins tonight when they host the Rangers, who've lost 6 games in a row. Twins begin the day with a 4.5-game lead in the AL Central. Vikings rookie Jordan Addison settled his court case today, pleading guilty to a speeding charge, while a reckless driving charge was dismissed. 49ers GM John Lynch says former third overall pick Trey Lance will most likely remain with the team after losing the backup quarterback job to Sam Darnold. I'm Doug Thompson.
Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, a 24-pack of Crayola crayons and comp books are just 50 cents each, and select notebooks are just 35 cents each. In-store only. Offer ends 8/26, limit 30. School on, save on at Staples.
The Fan, live at the fair, presented by Meshbesher and Spence on FM 100.3, KFXN, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
The Fan is broadcasting live at the 2023 Minnesota State Fair from Carousel Park, presented by Meshbesher and Spence. We'll be broadcasting live every day from today all the way through September 4th. Come buy your favorite fan merch, learn about your shot to be the Meshbesher and Spence Root of the Day, and win a $200 Visa gift card. KFAN.com, keyword events for more info.
All right, we're ready. Part 2 with our guy Two Dogs, Monty Crease's traveling reptile show. Always starts our guest lineup at the Great Minnesota Get Together on a day that is definitely not as hot as the last couple. And I think it's supposed to improve with each day that goes by. So that's all good. And like I said, maybe still a little bit too much sun for some people, but we got these sun hats that have been... Except for the one woman.
Man, she is still...
I think you should go find her, because I'm worried about what she might be capable of.
Well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do when I find her?
Give her a hat, man. Buy her off.
I don't know. That sets a bad precedent.
Think so?
That's a dangerous precedent.
Letting the terrorists win?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. You're right about that.
Give her $3 and send her over on Nelson Street across from the DNR Fish Pond. There's a
right next to the Care 11 bar.
Great spot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the spot.
Not for a shameless plug, but if you wanted to, that's where you would go.
For sure, 100%. All right, what do we got next, Two Dogs?
Oh, we got to keep Zach happy here, so.
How's Zach? How have you been doing? You okay? Whoa.
So, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this guy's actually biting himself right now.
What's that all about?
That
sounds like something that Halvey might actually relate to.
So, this is a California king snake, and one of their favorite meals is snakes.
Whoa.
So
they get confused sometimes? Or?
And they have an excellent feeding response, meaning they will bite anything and everything.
Wow.
So if you're ever handling another snake and then you go and pick up your king snake, feel free to just look down because he's going to be biting your fingers. And I know this because we mentioned how Murphy works with us.
Yes.
1 year at the Wisconsin State Fair, Hank, who's helping me out, and Monty, we were closed down and we were in the back of the trailer. And I was holding our king snake. We were cleaning that cage quick, and I made the mistake of saying, like, this is such an amazing snake. And it's got really good color, that black and white banded. It's just really crisp. And it's so well behaved. And right on cue, even though snakes don't have ears, he definitely heard what I said. I looked down, and it swallowed my pinky. It just grabbed the whole thing. And I did what you're not supposed to do, and I pulled my finger back. Because, well, that's what you do when something
It's reflex. Yeah, it's like, what do you...
You know, I'm only human.
Yeah.
I'm weird, but I'm still a human. Well, then it's like, oh, that pinky's gone, so I'll grab the other one. Well, I'd been handling other snakes, and it smelled like snakes, so like, oh, that's food, let me grab it. So when we pulled that guy out of the bucket, he's like, oh, must be food coming. Sees himself, grabs himself, but it doesn't hurt him or anything.
It's a cue.
But if you have...
What happened to the pinky?
My pinky?
Yeah.
Oh, it's still fine.
Okay, it's all right.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, you should just hold still and actually push into them.
Okay.
Because their teeth are all recurved. So as you pull back, it just makes it sink in deeper.
Yep.
So I failed that test. Luckily, it wasn't a big snake or would have caused some serious damage. But Monty was very supportive, and he made sure my feelings weren't hurt as soon as he was done laughing.
That doesn't sound like I was going to say with Monty. It's I got to believe there's some laughter in there and some mocking first, right?
And Monty was very. You want to make sure you didn't get an infection, so I'm sure he grabbed the bleach bottle and just dumped some bleach on your cuts. And if you can feel it stinging, you know it's working.
Where do we find this particular?
So this one would be California.
Okay.
If you go over to Arizona, they have the king snake. Doesn't get quite as big. It's orange and black. Then Texas has one.
Well, it looks like it's tying itself in knots.
Well, it thinks it's feeding time.
It does feed. Okay.
Because in his head,
it's feeding time. Hal, get a little closer. Get a little closer.
Let's try the
Zach,
pinky.
you don't have to
the
worry.
pinky experiment.
This snake
with Halvey. Come on, man.
Zach, this is the one to hold because he can't bite you. He's already biting himself. You
Think
can't
about it.
get any safer.
He doesn't seem to agree.
All right, last day of the fair, we'll come over and Zach, take a poll if everybody wants it. We'll bring something.
And Zach is in a bad way right now. I have a lot of respect for Halvey.
He does pretty good.
He's hanging in.
He's
pretty
gutting
good.
it out.
Yeah,
because he knows he's gonna have to get through this every year. Like this could be your sick day, and just either you're not real smart or you're really committed to the craft.
And how old is this baby?
Oh, this one's probably 12. But
12 years old?
Like we said before,
Yeah, it's hard.
line. But we say it with confidence, so you'll believe us.
I do. That's what I was going to say. Because otherwise, are there actual telltale signs that help you estimate, or do you just even make that up?
The estimations?
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of look at them and kind of ballpark it.
Yeah.
But so much of it is based on their life and how
Right.
they're taken care of. So if somebody just really pushed them on the food and they're like, hey, it's that big, like it must be at least this old. Like, nope, we just pushed the food really hard and we got them big.
So the big baby you just had out last segment.
Yep.
How long? I mean, what's life expectancy there?
So big snakes are kind of like big dogs. They don't tend to live as long. So the average for snakes across the board is about 20 years.
20. And what's going to get them?
Those guys, when they're little, just about everything. But once they get full grown, like the big one there, she's knocking on 200 pounds when she has all her weight on her, and she's 18 feet long. There's really nothing that's going to mess with her. Maybe a tiger, if he's having a really bad day and he's really looking for food.
But ordinarily, they're going to be left alone.
And 90% of their life is simply spent hiding because if you're cold-blooded, you're designed to take a little bit of food and stretch it way out. You don't need to be out and about every day. So these containers that we put our snakes in, people see those and they're like, you can tell the people that care. You can see them just kind of cringe like, is that enough room? Like, it just feels to me. Because, well, if you're trying to put your cat or dog in something small like that, they won't like it. And that's what most people know. Well, a snake does not like wide open spaces.
Okay.
So when you give them a spot to hide, well, that big snake that we had out, Hank took the tub over there, cracked the lid, and as soon as she saw that nice dark spot, she's like, that's my spot, and she just goes right in. She's like, I don't want to be in the wide open in the sun. Small, dark, nothing else can get to me.
So when they die, what kind of disease tends
For
to
these
nail
guys, a lot of
snakes?
times, it's just going to be old age.
They'll just one day they're gone.
Yeah, respiratory issues,
Yeah.
that can be a deal depending on environment and everything.
Right.
And usually for us, if we find one that we really like and it's got great temperament, and then we give it a name, and we put on its sign, because as we established, I'm too cheap to buy new signs. Like, you know what, this guy's earned a sign, we're going to put its name on, that's usually a kiss of death. So it's like, we're not giving you a name that goes on the sign.
Yeah. understandably. What else we got? One more? Two more?
Oh, we got a couple more because, well, I have a problem. I bring way too much stuff.
No, that's good.
We did a birthday party the other day. Normally we should bring 10 to 12. I think we brought 18.
Wow.
You know, it's like some good
Hey, it's
people.
good value.
It's just like, oh, well, let's bring this. I got help. My 3 boys are with. Like, oh, we got lots of help. Let's double up on these. Let's do these. And then all of a sudden you realize you got a problem. So this one here, this is a gopher snake. You'd find these around here and everything. These are rodent control. The snakes are perfectly designed to go after mice and rats. There's no arms or legs to get in the way. Their ribs, they don't have a sternum where our ribs connect, so if they got to squeeze into a tight hole where a rodent goes,
they can
the
do
ribs
it.
can squeeze together. When they get inside, they can block the door and wipe out all those rodents for us, and those ribs can stretch out. Because their stomach is just like the balloons clowns use for making balloon animals, long, skinny, and can stretch way out. But they'll eat so much they can't squeeze back out the door that they got in, which is just fine because after you eat Thanksgiving dinner and you eat way too much stuff, you don't want to do anything. So they just hang out 3 to 5 days, break that food down, leave a little fertilizer behind, and they're out the door hunting again.
The big pythons, we've talked about the food, because it's amazing how wide their jaws can open, right? They can get anything in there.
Yep, so like those big snakes about, the size of a woman's basketball, they can swallow that. Because that jaw is just not connected right to the skull like ours, and it'll stretch way out.
And so when they first eat something that big, then there's like a big lump, and then it takes time for it to get like broken down and digested. How does that work?
Yep, so you'll see them kind of crank their neck and just push that down to their stomach. So day 1 and 2, you can see, like if we give them a 40-pound pig, like there's the pig.
40-pound pig.
If we give them a 40-pound pig.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Is going to be the most. Day 3 is going to be the most. You're going to have the guests those guests that are coming off and breaking down the food, and so they're going to be really swelled up. And then about day 5, then it starts to shrink down. And then if you have somebody like Hank who really likes to help out, be like, oh, I think we should feed them again, don't you? Like, oh, they need more food. They're not big enough. Let's give them more food.
Now, does the pig have anything to say about it? Obviously,
the pig doesn't have much to say about it.
Apparently, the pig's out of luck.
I asked the pig. The pig didn't say no, so. But all our stuff we pull out of the freezer.
Yes, right.
We're big softies too, so.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Now we do raise our own mice and rats, and you do get bit by the mouse or rat occasionally, but we give them the benefit of the doubt because they are fighting for their life. So.
Yeah, it's hard to get mad at
why
them.
you're putting up.
You don't hold it against them.
No. I mean, we get rid of them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I got a spot for you.
They still lose, but.
That genetic trait of being biters, there's not many left in our collection.
Understandably.
That have been weeded out real fast.
So. You're getting pretty close here, Zach. Pretty Oh, no, I guess it's because it's back in the...
He's got a guy between him now.
That's true.
So then our other one here, so that king snake we had, we said one of their favorite meals is other snakes, especially rattlesnakes. So here we have a western rattlesnake, a western diamond. Where are you going, Zach?
A western diamond.
Western diamondback, yep.
Pretty gorgeous snake, especially from this distance. Here's the western.
Well, like anything, it should be treated with respect.
Of course.
Rattlesnakes get a really bad rap.
Of course they do.
They absolutely should be treated with respect because that is a dangerous animal. You do not want to get tagged by one. But a rattlesnake is really cool because if you get too close, it will tell you.
It'll rattle.
Yeah, it's one of the only snakes that make noise.
So at least it will warn you.
Yep.
You can't pretend to be surprised, right?
Now, down in Texas and Oklahoma, where they have these big rattlesnake roundups, the original idea behind that was, hey, we got people living out in the country here, families with kids. Like, let's get rid of some of these rattlesnakes. Maybe I don't want my kid to get bit by a rattlesnake. Seems like a great idea, but. What they found out after doing these rattlesnake roundups year after year, the ones that they find, the ones that they eliminate from the breeding population are the ones that rattle because they're the easiest to locate. So now they have all these rattlesnakes still that no longer rattle. They just do not have that behavior trait. So they'll just sit there and then you get too close and then they'll tag you.
Hank, take a couple steps towards that.
That doesn't seem fair. Go right at it.
I'm live streaming Zach, live streaming this.
Zach, you can get closer than that. Come on, man.
Zach, did you know this was going to be all about you today?
Look, he's hanging in a little better.
You do got to give him credit.
100%. How about a round of applause for Halvey for hanging in and chronicling the whole deal?
Zach,
more courage than I got.
Zach reminds me of my brother, because my brother, he'd come over and get talking to Monty, and my brother was not a fan of snakes. But Monty had this great trait of when you finally get away from him, you finally like, okay, the Midwest goodbye, I'm finally at the door, and he would say something that's just so interesting where you got to ask a question. Like, there's no way you can leave on that cliffhanger. And you just knew, my brother Travis, like, and I just know this is going to end up with a bottle of gin and a rattlesnake out on the ground. But yet I have to ask that question, even though I know better, because Monty had such an interesting life.
So can you just leave this guy here for the rest of the show? Or can you just leave this guy here for the rest of the show, or is that a little bit dangerous?
He's fine. He's just mowing the lawn for you.
Yeah, he is.
He's been out the whole time.
Docile.
Awesome.
Well, we describe their personality as they just
don't care. Yeah.
And as all the kids, big and little, have come up and been petting him on
He
the
does.
show,
Yeah, doesn't seem bothered by any of it. He does. Yeah, doesn't seem bothered by any of it.
One lady asked, like, well, how do you tell if he doesn't like it? Like, if he actually stops eating,
You know
then we
something's
might
up.
actually
Okay.
be concerned. And we have 2 of these big tortoises, so after we get your $3, when you come in, there's always one of these guys out for people to pet on top of the
Awesome.
So they only work 6 days a year because they work every other day. And if you can get that gig where 6 days a year, room and board's covered for the year, I highly recommend it.
Pretty damn good. All right, remind people, they should know by now, your location, and we'll give you one more shameless plug.
All right. Well, since I have no shame, if you can find the DNR fish ponds on the map, which is also free, great deal. We're right by that on Nelson Street. So you got Care 11, you got the rock garden with a whole bunch of knickknacks. So if mom doesn't want to go in, you go in there. They got so much stuff. It's absolutely amazing. Then there's us. There's the arcade. Same street as a giant slider.
Easy to find.
Easy to find. And if you can't find it, just keep walking around until you do.
Good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Thank you, 2 dogs. Great stuff again. How about a hand for 2 dogs bringing this wonderful array of, speaking of the beautiful surprise.
Yeah,
right?
That was phenomenal.
That was outstanding. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
We'll
It's a
see
pleasure
you
as
in
always.
2024. Or maybe a
Unless
little
we're back
sooner.
to get Zach, or maybe Zach just comes over.
Yeah, it could be.
Does a live remote.
I'd say we'll take Zach through the whole place. It'll be a good pub. We'll get some videos, and we'll do all of that.
We're going to lay our money down. I'll pay your $3. We're just all putting bets in on how long till you come running out the door.
Just a deep.
We'll even let you bet on it, but you got to take over 20 minutes.
I'm not sure he's convinced, but maybe we can work on him. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Take a break. We expect Ben Gessling here any minute. And lots more to get to on day number 1 at the Great Minnesota Get-Together. Stay tuned.
This is Bumper to Bumper live from the Minnesota State Fair on The Fan, presented by Meshbesher Spence.
KFAN Total Traffic.
Good afternoon from the Quick Trip Traffic Center. Here's a look at the roads. Some construction delays on Highway 10 in Coon Rapids westbound from 7th to Ramsey. 494 eastbound at Concord. There's a crash on the exit ramp in the Gore just in the front of the ramp. 494 eastbound slow from 169 to 35W. 35E northbound slow from Pennsylvania to Larpenteur because of an earlier crash. 694 westbound at 35E. There's a stall blocking the right shoulder. That's traffic on the Fan, sponsored by